In this video, we will be exploring the highlights of chapters 5, 7, and 8. So sit back, put on your seatbelts, and enjoy. And don't get too confused. When Jesus sent out his 12 disciples, he told them to take nothing with them on their journey. That means that he wanted them to rely on him and on their faith in him to do anything he called them to. We need to live our lives in that same manner, trusting that every step we take and every move God wants us to make, he will provide for us.
Here comes my Grandma Chalk. She will teach you a couple things from the Bible.
Grandma!
Grandma!
The time yet?
Yeah, Grandma, it's time.
Hi, and welcome to Grandma's Corner.
Over here, Grandma. Over here? You need glasses.
Where are my glasses? Hi, my pretty. It's time for Grandma's Corner. These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me.
She's kind of deaf.
Their worship is a farce. Their worship is a farce, for they teach man-made ideas as commands from God. Jayame, Moses gave you this law from God. Honor your father and mother. Anyone who speaks disrespectfully a father or mother must be put to death.
Dun, dun, dun. Grandma!
Grandma Cha.
Grandma Cha?
All of you listen and try to understand. It's not what goes into your body that defiles you. You are defiled from what comes from your heart. From your heart. It is what comes from inside that defiles you. From within, out of a person's heart. From within, out of a person's heart comes evil thoughts, sexual immorality, theft, murder, adultery, greed, wickedness, deceit, lustful desires, envy, slander, pride, and foolishness. All these vile things come from within. They are what defile you. Guard your heart and anything you put into it. It's not what you eat that makes you unclean, but it's what you store in that heart of yours. Make sure.
Grandma!
Hallelujah!
Can they really see me on there? Yes, Grandma.
Grandpa!
Until next time.
I'm a little kid at a 3-ring circus.
A big part of Mark chapter 7 discusses obeying God's law and what we have to do in order to obey God's law. Jesus discusses how the prophet Isaiah was correct in what he had said. Now, the book of Isaiah is actually found in the Old Testament, but in the book of Mark, there's a reference made by Jesus when he says, "These people show honor to me with words, but their hearts are far from me. Their worship for me is worthless. The things they teach are nothing but human rules." That's a reference to Isaiah 29:13. Now, when we think about it, that is a pretty serious statement that Jesus is making right there. It says, their hearts are far from me, and their worship of me is worthless. So we have to think about the implications of that. Jesus says, their hearts are far from me, and their worship of me is worthless. Now, what does it mean for something to be completely worthless? Things of worth that we think of off the top of our head. Maybe things like jewelry or our homes, iPods, MP3 players, cell phones, laptops, cameras, all that stuff. Those are things of worth to us. And they're worth a lot because of their money, but also because of what they offer to us. I mean, music is a huge part of all of our lives, I'm sure. So having that iPod or even a CD player, something like that, that allows us to hear our music, that's why that's worth something to us, because it's important to us. Well, Jesus says here that their worship is worthless. Worship is worthless when you don't mean it. When we're not being totally serious about God and worshiping with all our hearts, then it doesn't mean anything to Him. Saying, oh, I love you, Jesus, you're so awesome, and then turning around and disobeying Him kind of invalidates it.
Worship is the best.
Worship! Worship is using the talents God has given you for His purposes, whatever that may be.
Seven loaves and a few fish. 7 loaves, few fish equals feed 4,000 people. That's exactly what Jesus did. So after they were done eating, there was still food left over. That's pretty amazing that God was able to feed 4,000 people with just, the little amount of food that He had. And still the Pharisees wanted a sign. Jesus asked, "Who do you say I am?" Peter replied, "You are the Messiah." Check out verse 34. "If any of you wants to be my follower, you must turn from your selfish ways, take up your cross, and follow me. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. If you try to hang on to your life, you will lose it. But if you give up your life for my sake and for the sake of the good news, you will save it. And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world, but lose your soul?"